Live.
Due to some violent content, parental discretion is advised.
Just checking it out. See if I need to do anything. Do I need to do anything? I don't think so. All right, let's see what happens.
Well, I don't know what this thing is. I think it's a strip show, dance show.
Work there, dude.
Welcome to
DeaconLive.
DeaconLive.
Live.
Well,
Welcome back, guys. On today's show, say goodbye to Mopar. And do you even work here? And what does DTN stand for in the TikTok videos? And this app absolutely saved this dad's life. All this and much, much more will be discussed here on DeaconLive. How are you? How are things? How are things going? Are you doing okay? Are you surviving? I always check on you, make sure you're doing okay. You're making ends meet for the most part. You're getting along with everybody, and we're just hope that everyone's doing well, all in general as well. Now, here on the Fringe, for those of you who don't know, we broadcast just outside of Charlotte, North Carolina, beautiful little town we like to call Marshville. We sit on about 22 some odd acres. We have chickens, cats, goats, ducks, horses, the main part, horses. Why is this going? Is that better? I think that's better. So we've got a lot going on here on the property. Now, as you guys know, my dad is going to be moving in a tiny home that we're going to build on the backside of the property. Now, with that being said, there's so much more stuff that needs to be done during this time. Fix something real quick. How's that? I don't know. It's not even better. We'll take care of it in post. But for the most part, my dad's going to be, we're building a tiny house back there. And Jesus Christ, the stuff that we have to jump through, the hoops and everything to get all that done. And when I say hoops and stuff, it's not hoops. It's finding the goddamn people to show up and do their things. We've emailed the government, the whatever of Union County, the environmental person this way and the land development of that way. And everyone's pointing their fingers at each other. No, you need to talk to them. I only handle the front yards. I only handle the backyards. I only handle dirt that's, 12 inches down. You need to talk to the guy who handles the dirt that's 12 inches below that 12 inches that I handle. I'm like, Jesus Christ, could someone just make like a checkoff list? Hey, would you like to do this? Here's 1, 2, 3 of how everything needs to be done. So we're just kind of shooting in the dark and trying to get everything done. Now, one thing I do know, and I have confidence in, is I know the guy who needs to put down a well. Now, we live out here in a small little town of Marshville, just outside of Charlotte, North Carolina. Our population is about 2,500 people, and we do not have a main water source. We're not connected to like city water or anything like that. All the houses have wells. The water over here is pretty good. Depending on the vein that you're on, we don't get like the rust water or anything like that. Oh, you're on a well. It must smell like rotten eggs. Well, it does if you don't have a water softener on it. And we have a water softener, and that's another story in itself. But we have really good water. You feel clean when you rinse off. You don't have all those rust stains all over the property when the sprinklers go out or in the sinks. Sometimes at grandma's house, you have the rust stains in the sink. So there's one guy who actually put the pump in on the property before we bought it, the original owners. And the house was built in 2004, so it's not like this was like 1972 this pump was put in here or the well was put in here. It's somewhat recently, within the last 20 years, if you think about it that way. The company's still around. The guy who owns it, he's probably in his 70s, but he's got, kids and other employees that work for him. It looks like a family-run business. And, they always put a sticker on the pump or on anything. If you have problems, call this sticker number. And, you call that sticker number. So we had the barn put on, and we called the number up. And I'm like, hey, we got to run about 200 feet that way and to run a water line down to the barn. Fine, I'll be out there on Wednesday. Now, this is years ago. When I say years ago, probably about 8 years ago. Comes out, has a ditch witch, dredges down 18 inches into the one guy's territory and, cuts a line all the way down to the barn, puts a pressure tank down there, hooks everything up. Great. We now have water down at the barn. What we're needing now is another, almost the exact same thing, but another 200 feet for my dad's house that's going to be down there. I want to make sure that they're able to do it. In the process of that, we have a water softener that they put on, the pump company, and it's, I don't know if it's doing its correct job. We lose power left and right here on the property. So I don't know. Sometimes, if the power goes on and goes off and goes on and goes off, anyone who's got computers that run all day long here at the station, the computers run all day long. And sometimes if the power flickers, it messes with settings or something. So we have a water softener out there, and I don't know if the settings are messed up or what, but we've never touched it since we've been here. And I'm noticing that we're not adding as much salt to it because there's always salt in the bottom of the thing. So you know what I do? I look for that sticker number that's right on the thing, and I call it. Hey, pump company, ABC Pump Company. I'm just making this up because I'm going to call them out later on this. And, it goes right to voicemail. Or goes right to a generic. It looks, you know what it sounds like? It sounds like the old, not reel to reel, but an old, where you put the tapes in, the answering machine type thing, and it goes, "We're sorry." And you can hear it sounds like his wife, and she's like smacking gum and smoking cigarettes at the same time. "We're sorry, we can't answer the phone right now. Leave your name and number, and we'll get back to you as soon as possible. Thank you." As she exhales the smoke from her lungs. So I leave a message. "Hey, this is Deacon, and we live at, property 123, and you did a thing for us, and just want to know, we're going to expand the property a little bit more. Can you come out and give us a quote on what it would cost to dredge another line and check out the water softener?" And I did it on like a Saturday, right? Saturday, Sunday, you expect Monday. Maybe Monday they get back to you. No, maybe Tuesday. Here we are going into the end of the week. And I still have not received a phone call. Like, "Hey, thank you," nothing. I'm waiting for, what's it, Flo? "Kiss my grits." That's the type of voice I hear on the other end of that line when I make the phone call. Nothing. So I'm like, and this is not the first time that I've called these. I know, it's gripe. It's country gripe is what I'm doing. Country complaining. Now, I know he's got like 3 trucks. He's probably got 7 employees. They probably arms deep because they're building up around this left and right. They're drilling and dropping wells in all over this beautiful county that we live in. We live in Union County. Some people call it Onion County because we're out in the middle of nowhere. It's farmland and chicken houses and cornfields. But they have not come back or called back or done anything, even make an attempt. Not even, if they were to do a postcard and send it to me, I would be happy with that. And then it would have taken like 3 days to get here. I would have been happy with that. Now, it's not like they're, 50 miles away. They are in our county. We're a small county, and they have not reached out to me or done anything at all. Zippo. Not like a, "Hey, can we call you back tomorrow? We're a little busy. Thanks for your call." Nothing. No customer service. And it's always been this way with this company. So if you have any suggestions of what I should do, especially the proud people that live in this Marshville area, I know we've got a lot of listeners that listen to the DeaconLive podcast just because we are somewhat local here. So our fan base is like, basically they can knock on my door and go, "Hey, I didn't agree with what you said." And we'll sit down and have a beer and talk about it. But for the most part, I'm at a loss. I'm at a loss as far as outside of literally going down there and knocking on his door, because he runs his place out of the back side of his property. He's got, storage sheds. And when I say storage sheds, I'm not talking about those little arrow sheds. I'm talking like big metal buildings that stores all the stuff. And it's on the back side of his property. I don't want to walk over there and knock on his front door and the screen door falls off. And, "Hey, are you going to do a pump thing for me?" I don't want to do that, but hopefully I'll get an answer here soon, because we're coming up on getting ready to perk for the septic tank. I know rural stuff. City folks are like going, what is he talking about? What is he talking about? I don't understand all this terminology. All my country folk out there understand exactly what we're talking about, or what I'm talking about as far as getting a perk for the septic tank and all the other things that need to happen before you put another house on your property to make sure you're pulling the right permits and whatnot. All right, guys, stick around. When we come back, we got a big show to get into, lots of stuff to talk about. You're listening to Deacon Live right here on Prophet Radio. I'll be right back. Could someone just make like a checkoff list? Hey, would you like to do this? Here's 1, 2, 3 of how everything needs to be done. So we're just kind of shooting in the dark and trying to get everything done. Now, one thing I do know, and I have confidence in, is I know the guy put down a well. Now, welcome back, guys. On today's show, say goodbye to Mopar, and do you even work here? And when you're watching TikTok, do you understand what DTN stands for? Well, I'll tell you what that means. And also, this app saved their dad's life, and you might want to get it on your phone as well. All this and much, much more will be discussed here on Deacon Live. How are you? How are things? How are things going? I hope you're doing all right. I like to check on you, make sure you're doing okay. I hope you're feeling all right. I hope you're getting along with everyone in general. And life goes on. Life moves on. You know, sometimes if you don't, what is Ferris Bueller? If you don't stop and take a look around, it'll pass you by. Now, for those you don't know, we broadcast just outside of Charlotte, North Carolina, beautiful little town we like to call Marshville. We sit on about 22 some odd acres here. And as you guys know, I'm trying to build a tiny home for my dad on the backside of our property here. And the problem that I'm running into, I know we're going to get a little rural talk here for a little bit, so bear with me. The problem that I'm running into is getting someone to respond back to me. And, well, you're like, Deacon, what do you mean responding back to me? So there's two main things that we need to have done in order just to break ground. One, because we're out in the country, we live in Marshville, and population 2,500 people, steadily growing from what I'm seeing, is we need to have a septic tank. We have no sewage system. We have no water treatment center here in the area. So we're either on a well, or we are on a well, and we all have septic tanks. Ew, I know, septic tanks. But out here in the country, it's expected. Water, well water, that's a different thing. So emailed the guy for the septic tank. Hey, you know, they said in the email, make sure you have some kind of Bobcat out there. Make sure you have a certified Bobcat driver that can do all this stuff. And I asked my neighbor next door, because he's having a work shed, a workshop. When I say shed, not like one of those arrow sheds. I'm talking, 42 by 42, as big as our barn down there. Metal building with, plumbing and foundation, concrete foundation. And he's tying into his septic tank. And he said, well, who's the guy coming out to perk your land? I know, perk. It's a country word. It sounds funny. It sounds cool when I say it. And I said, the guy's name's Michael Wheeler or something like that. And he's like, that's the same guy that's coming out with me. I'm like, hey, man, can you give me a little heads up? Because I've emailed the guy. He doesn't respond to me. What does he do when he comes out here? Because I'm from Florida. I'm from Orlando, Florida, born and raised. And out in the country is now where I live. And he's like he's got like one of these little, it's got a T-post or a T-handle, like for turning off your water meter outside, those people that have water meters in Florida. And it's got like a little auger on the bottom on it. He kind of spins it around, puts it into like test tubes, takes little samples, and he's gone. That's it. I'm like, why is he asking me to have $3,000 worth of contractors and roping off areas? He's like, I don't know. I'm like, all right, well, that's settled. So that appointment's later on this month. And that should be easy. Hopefully it'll easy, come and go. The second part that I'm having a problem with is there's a well company. It's a mom and pop well company. Like I said, there's only 2,500 people here, constantly growing here in Marshville, in Union County in North Carolina. And we don't have a water treatment center, so everyone's on a well. I'm sure this guy's busy. I'm sure he's somewhat busy. It's him, his wife. I don't know if she works or she mans the books. I'm sure it's one of those where he runs the whole entire company out of the backside of his property. He's got metal buildings, outbuildings and stuff that he stores all of his equipment to do all this stuff. And I don't know if they're cousins, grandkids, or whatever that's helping him run the company. So I called a while back because our house was built in 2004. And when they put the actual well and the well pump in here and the water softener and all that, what do? Any company worth a grain of salt puts their sticker on it. Have any problems, call us at, 1-2-3-4-5-6-7-8. And so when you have a problem or you have a question, you look for that sticker. So I called it. This is about 8 years ago. I'm like, hey, we're getting ready to put a barn on the backside of the property. It's about 200 feet from where we're at. Can you come out, bring a ditch witch, give us a quote and what it costs to have a water down at the barn. They have to put a pressure tank in there. He's like, yeah, no problem. We can do that. Comes out maybe within a week. It's done. Boom. I think it was like $1,500. Great. Here's $1,500. Thank you for your time. We actually sat out there and talked, like communicated, like over the bed of his truck. We were talking back and forth. Old guy, old timer. So then I call him now, 8 years later. And again, I go back to the sticker and I'm like going, hey, our water softener, I don't know if it's working right. Also, we need to put in another, just like you did before on the barn, you guys did some work here. Can you give us a quote on another 250 feet leg coming off this pump, if it's going to reach, or do we need to drill a new well? Left a message. And it's one of those old school message machines that's got like the cassette tape that you put into it, because you can literally hear it click over. And it sounds like someone's in a room, and it sounds like Flo from Mel's Diner for all you old timers out there. And it's like, this is, what our ABC pump. Can you just leave a message and a brief message in your phone number and stuff, and we'll get back to you. Thank you. And then you hear someone scramble around to turn the thing off, like calling a phone line that doesn't know. Anyways, you hear things scrambling around and click, and all of a sudden you hear, deet, and then you hear the thing click over, and you're like going, yes, my name's Deacon. I live at, 123 Any Lane. Can you come out as soon as possible? And plus the water softener that's here, I don't know if it's working right. We've had a bunch of flickers of power going on and off. I don't know if it fried something. Can you come out here and look at it? It doesn't smell like rotten eggs yet, with a well and stuff. We've got a water softener and salt, but it's just something's not right. Thank you. Call me back. Deet. That was this past Saturday. Monday, all right, they're catching up from the weekend. Tuesday, maybe a call back would be nice. Here we are getting into the end of the week. I've got nothing. And this isn't the first time this has happened in the last 8 years. So I'm sitting there going, well, what the hell, man? You're a company. I understand you're an older guy. 8 years ago, he was probably 62, and now he's 72. I know the math's not there, but you understand what I'm saying. And he probably has, he's up to his elbows in doing wells and stuff. Give me a call. Give me anything. Give me some kind of, hey, I know you're a customer. I know we've done work with you before. We'll be there on September. Fine. Give me a date. I don't care if it's 2 months away. At least I have something I can put on my calendar. Yes, they will be here. This is when we can start. Let's go ahead once it perks. Fancy word. Fancy country word. And we can get the well done and have a water line down there to get this thing started. Nothing. Zippo. Nada. And the only reason why I bring this up, I know that we're in, DeaconLive stretches 55 different countries, over 39 states, over 39 U.S. states. I know the Canadian border is kind of weird. They don't pick us up over there. But here in Union County, we have a large fan base just because we are local. We are a local broadcast that we do here. And so I know I've got a lot of listeners that listen to us. I've got a lot of people on the board, the committee, that listen to us as well. And before I start calling out names, because I have no obligation to not call these people out. I don't, there's no one in this county that buys airtime on this show. I can say whatever I want. And that's it. This is my, there was oh, Jesus, what was his name? There was a guy in Florida who said, he was on an AM station. I used to listen to him all the time. He used to say, this is my 50,000 watt front porch step that I can sit here and yell at everyone that goes by. So this is our, I don't know how many watts it is, but I'm telling you, I'm reaching out to anyone out there in our county that can give me an answer. And the way you get me that answer, we'd love to hear from you. Give me that answer. You can email me anytime. The directions or comments that you have for me, go to DeaconLive at profitradio.com. Email me any questions, or if you'd like to be on the air, be part of the show just like me, you can sit right here. Not physically sit right here, but you can be part of the show at any time. Just go over to Prophet Radio, PROPHET Radio. Click on Be Heard. There's a little blue bar right there, a little blue bar tab, whatever. Click on that. Opens up a microphone on your tablet, whatever device you're listening to us on, and you can leave a voicemail. It comes right to our inbox. I get a little ping, and then we'll play it on this podcast or the very next podcast as well. All right, guys, we got a big show to get into. Lots of stuff going on, and so stick around. You'll listen to Deacon Live right here on Prophet Radio. I'll be right back. Welcome back to Deacon Live. Make sure you follow us on all your social networks, and the way you do that is go over to Prophet Radio, PROPHET Radio. Click on social contacts, and you can see all the stuff that links us to you and you to us as well. And while you're over there, get yourself some free swag. Fill out that little form there. I'm not going to do anything with your email address. I just want to say thank you for listening to us, and we're going to send you out some stickers, some magnets, some buttons, a whole bunch of cool things out there. Just fill out the little form. We'll send it out to you. And for those of you overseas, I apologize. We only do it once a month. We do one big care package that goes out overseas, and then it goes to their parcel service, and then it gets delivered from there. So we appreciate you guys overseas as well. Now, someone who doesn't appreciate you are all the people that are not a size 6 or not a size 8 or not a size 10. And that's the airline service. And when I say airline service, I'm talking about airplanes. Those seats are getting smaller and smaller. And our community, our adult, biometrics as far as how big we are getting here in the United States. I know we're big fat fucks over here. But for the most part, we're just getting big as human beings. So right now, the tyranny of shrinking airplane seats may be coming to an end. The FAA is seeking comments on passengers' experiences with uncomfortable seats. So airplane seats have been shrinking for decades now, with airlines and plane manufacturers plotting a new and improved way to reduce passengers' comfort in order to make favor for a little bit more of extra money. Now, though, the Federal Aviation Administration is seeking public comment on passenger experience in these ever-shrinking seats with the intention of perhaps mandating a certain minimum size limit for each seat to be made. Now, at the time of this article, the FAA has received almost over 9,000 comments on this debacle, and you can learn more about it by submitting your comment or question right here. Let's see if I click on this right here. You can go to regulations.gov and search for minimum seat dimensions necessary for safety on air passengers for emergency evacuation, because that's basically what it comes down to. In 2018, the Congress directed the FAA to, after notice of its comment, issue such rules as minimum dimensions for passenger seats that are necessary for the passenger to escape safely from an airplane. So go to regulations.gov and you can see all this information. Cramped airline seats have been a subject of several studies in the past few years. Smaller seats have been linked to more health concerns like deep vein thrombosis and pulmonary embolisms, along with legitimate concerns of tight seat layouts, negatively impacting quick egress and in the event of emergency. Yeah, here's a prime example of why those seats are so, or if the seats are too small. And you're saying, no, seats are fine, seats are fine. What's the first thing that happens when the plane lands? All right, lands. It gets to the gate, and as soon as that seatbelt sign comes off, what does everyone do? Get me out of this fucking seat. Everyone stands up, bangs their head on the overhead compartment. But they do. They're so small. If you make those seats a little bit bigger, a little bit wider, a little bit, I'm not going to say it's going to cure the whole, why are you standing? We still have everyone in front of us that needs to go first. There's a big, controversy on that whole incident in itself. But for the most part, sit in your seat, wait for your turn, but then, heaven forbid, the people behind you that are already standing, if you're sitting, they will literally walk right by you. Now, if I'm sitting in my seat, it's because my bag, because of the overhead check-in, my bag's way up in the front, so I can't literally do anything. So I'm just going to stand. I don't know. It's a whole debacle in itself. But maybe if you made the seats just a little bit bigger, I mean, give me a couple inches. You know, fellas, ladies, you know what I'm saying? Airplane company, give me a couple more inches. I don't mind paying an extra $20 if I have a nice little seat, a little bit more extra room. Now, I'm a big guy. Like I said, I'm 6'1", 6'2", depending on what 7-Eleven I'm leaving. And, you know, my weight fluctuates anywhere from 250 to 270. I know that's my fighting weight for the most part. But still, I'm a big guy. I get that all the time. Hey, big guy, hey, big guy. You know you're a big guy when other big guys look at you and go, hey, you're a big guy. They don't say big fat fuck. They just say big guy. That's what football guys do, right? That's what I'm telling myself. So, right now, the U.S. Department of Transportation does not mandate seat size. Instead, they only mandate the maximum number of seats that they can be included on a certain aircraft. As humans under capitalism have learned time and time again that those standards will quickly be manipulated to correspondence priority the amount of money that they can make, while generally means creating the smallest seat as possible. So if you got a big airliner that says you're allowed to have 156 seats, and you go, well, how many seats do I have on here? 147. Well, I need to make 9 seats somewhere. All right, shave this off and shave this off and shave this off. Oh my God. Now, being from Orlando, I'm a big Orlando Magic fan. I won't get into the history of my relationship with them, but we had an arena when the Magic first came out that was called, I think, the TD Waterhouse Amway Arena at one time was downtown Orlando. And at one time, it when it was built, only housed or sat, I think, 16,500 people. Then they remodeled it because we got Shaq, we had Penny at the time, we were going for, playoffs and stuff. Somehow, the same arena, they squeezed in another 1,000 seats. You know how they did it? They took all the rows, and when you sat down, your knees were literally on the back of someone's head when you're sitting in there. You move or wiggle, you're bumping the guys. Physically, your knee is in the back of someone's head. There's no walk room there. So, come on, people. I know the whole almighty dollar is real valuable this time of year, or not this time of year, this time in our lives during this whole pandemic and everything that we're going through. But please, give us some comfort. We're coming out. If you let us come back out there and we're comfortable, I don't mind paying a little bit more. I don't mind. Now, someone that's going to pay a little bit more is American Airlines, as they agree to buy 20 supersonic jets from Boom. American Airlines has agreed to purchase 20 supersonic Overture planes from Boom Supersonic. Now, I don't know if you guys are old enough or young enough to remember the Concorde airplanes, but they used to be the main travel in between the United States and England. They could get you there in, I think it was 6 hours rather than the 14 hours that you could be there. They flew at supersonic speed. Unfortunately, there was a lot of issues that were going on at what killed the Concorde airplane. There's a documentary out there on Netflix somewhere. Check it out. But right now, Boom Supersonic and American Airlines, both companies, has announced on Tuesday that they are buying 20 supersonic of the supersonic jets. That's 5 more than the 15 overturned jets that United Airlines just ordered last year. So they're trying to up United Airlines as American Airlines is trying to be the better value. Overturn's order book includes purchasing and options for Japan Airlines, Virgin Atlantic, and U.S. Air Force as well. Other customers, along with their whole portfolio right now this year stands at 130 aircraft that they're going to make. So not bad for a jet that's come into reality. Boom expects to roll out the first overturned model in 2025, with a new plant being right here in North Carolina. The jet entering commercial service by the tail end of this decade. So what they're doing is they're starting to produce these planes. I think we saw this before. God, I hope it's not a repeat, where they took the 737 MAX and they put different engines on them that were more gas friendly, and they couldn't figure out how to get them to work right, and they ended up crashing. So now Boom Supersonic, what is it? Yeah, Boom Supersonic is going to make 130 planes, with some of them coming right out of the North Carolina area. If all goes according to schedule, the first paying passenger will break the sound barrier some 26 years after the Concorde flight from New York International to London's airport ended in 2003. The overturn has been designed to carry, here we go, listen to this, 65 to 80 passengers at Mach 1.7 over the water, or twice the speed of today's fastest commercial aircraft. With a range of 4,250 nautical miles, the cruising altitude of 60,000 feet, unlike the normal commercial airlines that travel around 35,000 feet. So here we go. If you're wanting to get onto this, now's your chance. So get ready to see in the next couple of years, you're going to see some supersonic airplanes. And I don't know if it's going to have that lean nose that the Concorde has, because they had to do the pitch of the nose of the way the plane had to come in. I know, I'm getting all nerded out on you. It's the way the pitch of the nose had to come in because it was coming in too fast, and the pilots couldn't see the runway because they were staring up at the fucking sky. So they had to pitch the nose down so they could see. All right, guys, we got a lot more to get into. Stick around. You listen to Deacon Live right here on Prophet Radio. I'll be right back. Welcome back to Deacon Live. Welcome back to Deacon Live. Any whatever show you want to call this. Welcome back to Deacon Live. Don't forget, for every podcast we do, we have a matching video. You can see me here in the studio waving the camera. Hopefully you guys are waving back to me. And I brought a new camera. I got a new camera because I got a lot more stuff going on here in the studio here in the last couple of months. I also do a equine podcast because of the rural area that we live in. So I've got a lot of guests here in the studio. So I had to get some more cameras, some more upgraded stuff. So if you want to hear that and see that, you can find us on iHeartRadio as well, or wherever you download your podcast. That's Equine Dynamics with Mike Stein. And I host the show. I'm kind of like the teller to his pen. I'm the simpleton that asks the simple questions about the biomechanics of horses. So check that out. That's Equine Dynamics with Mike Stein on iHeartRadio or wherever you download podcasts. And you make sure you subscribe to him as well on YouTube. Great videos, a lot of stuff. If you're into the equine community or just interested about horses, or you had horses at one time, you just want to know what updates as far as care and techniques that they're doing, it's a very interesting show. So it's a 30-minute long show. So make sure you check us out over there as well. Now, someone who's checking out right now is Mopar. Now, a lot of you out there don't know what Mopar is. But if you don't know what Mopar is, you are not part of this fan base group, because there's a lot of people out there that live and die by Mopar. Wang, baby. That's a wang. It's a whole language in itself out there. Right now, Dodge will discontinue its Challenger and Charger muscle cars this next year. In Detroit, Dodge will discontinue its gas-powered Challenger and Charger muscle cars at the end of this year, marking the end of an era for the brand as it starts its transition into electrical vehicles. So they're getting rid of the gas-powered Charge and Challenger and opting now for electric vehicles. Since coming back in the mid to late 2000s, the Charger and Challenger names, made popular in the 1960s and 70s, has seen a whole bunch of stuff from Dodge and popular vehicles and new generations for gearheads. The two-door Challenger particularly struck a chord with nostalgic buyers thanks to its retro-inspired styling, while the four-door Charger has managed to achieve notable sales milestones despite customers flocking from a sedan to the SUVs in recent years. So Dodge has been able to juice profits from their vehicles, which have starting price ranges from the low 30,000s to nearly 90,000s for infamous Hellcat models that produce over 900 horsepower. Now, you ask yourself, why do you need 900 horsepower? Well, you're not going to need it anymore because, one, gas is what, $5 in some areas, $9 in some areas. Around here, it's been floating around 300, around 360, 370, depending on what side of the county that you're on. The Dodge with Charger and Challenger really found its way to get into the muscle root cars. Now, you've seen it is disrespectful for what they did with the Ford Mustang, the electric vehicle. If you've seen that one that's come out, you might as well just play taps when whoever buys that car as it goes rolling by. So the future is now electrified vehicles, which includes the forthcoming muscle cars in 2024 coming up here. I don't know, man. I mean, it's a big change. Think about it. Let's put it in perspective. Think about it this way. We had horse-drawn carts, and then we went to a combustible engine. Do you think there was a lot of pushback? Oh, that'll never work. That'll never take off. You'll never get that on. You spend more time in the mechanic shop than on the road. Horse-drawn carts, nice and solid. If you feed them grass, you get gas, and then you go. So maybe this is what we're experiencing now is what they were experiencing when they were going from the horse-drawn cart to a combustible engine. I don't know. Is there anyone alive from back then? I don't know. Well, if you are, I'd like to hear from you. And the way you do that is go over to prophetradio.com, click on Be Heard. There's a little blue bar there, opens up a microphone on your device that you're listening to us on. Speak clearly. You can make up a name. I don't care. It comes right to our email address, and we'll play it on the very next podcast as well. You can ask me any questions that you want or say anything that you want as well. Now, something that's being said right now that's going to be heard a lot more is for those out there who don't have great hearing. Before reading this article, I never really thought about it at all. I remember in the malls in the 80s and 90s, they had like these hearing places where you could test your hearing to see if you can hear or anything like that. Well, right now, hold on. Let's not get ahead of ourselves here, Charlie. Right now, there are things in places right now to where you can buy hearing aids over the counter. It'd be no different than buying like not prescription glasses, but like reading glasses. I mean, when my father-in-law passed away, my wife's dad, he had in his little 1,000 square foot house, he must have had 25 different reading glasses just thrown all over the house because he'd lose them. Pick them up, lose them. They were like, I think you can get like a blister pack for like $20 and it had whatever prescription, 1.5 or 1.6 or whatever like that. Hearing aids right now are kind of falling into that same suit. Now, if you want to see this video, jump on over to Prophet Radio. For every podcast we have a matching video as well. Let's see if I can pop this up so we can see it and we can all be friends. Here we go.
So many people are one big step closer to a better quality of life. Hearing aids will soon be available over the counter. As Julie McDonald shows us, this impacts more people than we'd ever realize.
I'm like a big drop at the 500 frequency.
Dustin Feldman explains his bilateral profound hearing loss. He's a pro at lip reading.
Without my hearing aids, I don't hear too much. Can't hear high pitches, of course, bells, whistles, alarms, a baby crying, most female high-pitched, voices.
Dustin has worn hearing aids since he was 5 years old. His latest pair came with a $6,000 price tag.
Jesus!
That's why this moment today, this news is so big for so many people.
The FDA estimates that nearly 30 million adults could benefit from hearing aids, but only about 20% of them use the devices. This fall, a new class of hearing aids that don't require an exam or prescription will be available over the counter at pharmacies or online.
Hopefully it will reduce isolation and hopefully it will overall improve people's quality of life. Making things just more readily available, I think all combined can help reduce the stigma.
And that is something to celebrate.
People will buy those hearing aids with pride and excitement, not the, oh, I have to buy that. I got to buy that. No, I get to buy that. I get to do these things.
The over-the-counter devices are intended for adults 18 and older with mild to moderate hearing issues. Patients and providers agree this is an exciting and important first step.
There's a lot of noise in this industry right now, pun intended, right? It's for the better.
In Chelsea, Julie McDonald, WBZ News.
There you go. I mean, so it's no different than walking into a... Hold on, let me back out of this so we can all be everyone. All right. I mean, it's no different than, like I said, going into the your drugstore and buying your whatever magnifying glass. Now, of course, reading glasses that you buy off the spindle there are not meant for everyday viewing. You know, it's meant for close-up viewing. If you have far-sighting or nearsighted, whatever the thing is where you have to fix your actual prescription. But I mean, for the common people, for myself, example, I wear these headphones probably out of I don't know if you want to call it a 40-hour week. Excuse me, I probably have these headphones on for probably 8 to 10 hours out of a 40-hour week. And I can't, adjust I can adjust my levels, but I don't realize, what, I can't hear myself. I keep turning it up. I keep turning it up. I keep turning it up. So this is what's happening out there. And it might be the same thing. Think about like everyone that wears ear pods, your teenage kids, your college kids, they sit there with ear pods and there is a little notification that's on your phone that, if you got the ear pods up to past a certain decibel, your phone will alert you. Hey, this might be a bad level for you to have them on. And, of course, when you're in your mid-20s and stuff, you're like going, fuck it, I want it loud. I want everyone to hear. I want to hear everything on it. And then, of course, when you get to, 40s and stuff, your hearing's gone. Now you can walk into the store and buy some headphones or buy some whatever, the hearing aids. Huh? What'd you say? I don't know. You talking to me? Now, as you guys know, we live on we broadcast just outside of Charlotte, North Carolina, beautiful little town we like to call Marshville. We sit on about 22 some odd acres. We have horses, cattle, chicken, dogs, cats. One thing that we do have here on the property is chickens. Yes, we have free range chickens. And if you ever bought a dozen eggs at the grocery store, the prices of eggs are going up and up and up and up. So we here on the property, we only charge $3 for a dozen eggs. That is a bargain because people come up and they see our chickens running around like, oh, look, there the chickens are actually running around. I'm like, yeah. And anytime we're in the house, we're cutting up scraps and stuff. They go right out in the yard. We don't bag them up or anything. They go right out in the yard and they literally, like, pardon the pun, flock to our scraps and stuff that we threw out in the yard. Now, right now, this article might scare a lot of people away. So all our customers out there in the Marshville area, don't listen to this article. Go ahead and mute your podcast. Take your hearing aids out for the next 4 or 5 minutes while I discuss this article. Backyard hens eggs contain 40 times more lead than shop eggs. Oh, on average. Sorry. Let's try this again. I need to get a hearing aids. Need to get a breathing coach. So let's try this again. Backyard hen eggs contain 40 times more lead on average than shop eggs. So how do you know whether it's likely a problem in your eggs that you're getting from your backyard hens? There's nothing like fresh eggs from your own hens. More than 40,000 Australians, this is an article from Australia, who keep backyard hens will tell you. Unfortunately, it's not often just for freshness and flavor that set their eggs apart from what you buy in the shops. A newly published article research found that backyard hen eggs containing an average of 40 times more lead levels than commercial produced eggs. Keep in mind, this is Australia. Who knows what was going on there before we sent people over there. Oh, come on. There's a reason why they don't call them commies or what do they call them? Connies? There's a reason why Connie over there is the equivalent of the N-word over here. Look it up. Almost 1 to 2 hens in Sydney studied had significant lead in their blood. Similarities, about half of the eggs analyzed contain lead at levels that may pose a health concern to the customers. Even low levels of lead exposure considered harmful to humans, but including among other cardiovascular disease, decreased IQ and kidneys, and also indeed so how would you know whether it's likely a problem if you're getting the eggs out of your backyard are containing lead? It depends on the lead levels in your soil, so which varies across cities. We mapped out an area, and blah, 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 blah. So what did the studies find? Well, most lead gets into the hens as they scratch the dirt and peck through the food on the ground. So those of you who don't know, all right. So what happens is chickens, they don't have... for lack of a certain term, they have to eat grain and rocks and pebbles and stuff on the ground because they don't have teeth, so they swallow everything whole, and their stomach has to masticate the food. So the grains and rocks and pebbles and stuff that they have might contain lead, especially in Australia. Not here where we're at, so we're safe here for now on our little country property that we have here. But those buying eggs over in Australia that are raised in someone's backyard, be careful out there. So there you go. All right, guys, when we come back, do you even work here? A lot of people are showing up at places of employment without even getting an interview, and they're just letting them work there. Stick around. I got more details on that. You're listening to Deacon Live right here on Prophet Radio. I'll be right back. I have gel in my hair. Give me a break. I'm almost 90. Welcome back to Deacon Live. You want something for free? Of course you do. We'll give you something for free. All you have to do is go over to Prophet Radio, Prophet Radio. Click on free swag and fill out that little form there. Believe me, I'm not going to do anything with your email address or anything. I just want to say thank you for listening to us, downloading us, and we'll send you out a whole bunch of stickers, some magnets and stuff. You can put them on your refrigerator, put them on your car, put them on your kids going back to school. Be the envy of the whole entire class up until about 7th grade. And then, when is that? That's not cool. Now, late night at the diner, coming home from a drunk rager, and what's one of the things you look for? You want some kind of greasy, you want some kind of fast food. You pray to God that Burger King or the burger restaurant on the corner is still open at 3 o'clock in the morning. And well, one place that's always open. And even when hurricanes come through, they actually have a meter that tells how bad a hurricane is based on if this restaurant closes down in that area. And that restaurant is Waffle House. Waffle House manager has stepped up the game as far as people coming in and not wanting to pay their tab, which is fine. You know, it seems like a trope from a movie long time ago that's been outdated and you never really hear about it anymore. But this one customer right here says she asked the manager at the Waffle House if she could stack and clean dishes instead of paying for her bill. She said, the manager said, yes, by all means, help us out. We're shorthanded. We've talked about it many times where the girl at the Waffle House, I forget what location it was, took the order, ran to the back, started firing up the grill and trying to get people's orders out because she was the only one there at that location. And then you saw other customers jumping in and helping and being that short order cook on the grill and behind the counter. So this girl right here, Victoria, Klemonova, posted a clip now viral showing that her and her friends at the Waffle House became an employee when she started stacking dishes and setting them on the shelf near the grill. She writes in the text overlay, when you don't want to pay your tab, so you ask the manager if you can do some dishes in the restaurant to help clean up. So here's the video. If you want to see this video for every podcast we do, we have a matching video as well, and you can see it in real time as we're talking about it here. So here she is, stacking dishes and helping out behind the, let me turn the volume up on this. So here we go. Oh, of course, it's just a song, so I'm going to pull that out because I'll get flagged for the thing. So there she is. She's stacking dishes. She doesn't look drunk or anything, but she's stacking dishes. What happened to those days? Remember when you know, if you don't want to walk out on your tab, you're like going, hey, man, I don't have enough money. Can I do anything? Can I sweep the floors or anything? and people would go, yeah, help us out here, and we'll pay for the tab. I think, what is it, Bon Jovi has that restaurant where you basically come in and you can either help in the kitchen or help clean up or donate your time or efforts somewhere. There's no prices on the menu or anything up there. You know, bowl soup or whatever, sandwich, hoagie roll or whatever they have at Bon Jovi's thing there. There's no prices. It's all like an honor system. You know, pay what you can afford is basically what they're saying. I think right now that's a great concept to adapt to or to bring into your restaurant and into your, you know, I understand, you know, someone stacking dishes is not going to pay for next week's meat order, but still it helps you out and it might bring in more business because you're more compassionate. You're not just thinking about the bottom line. You're thinking about the people out there who don't have the money that are actually dining or being a patron at your restaurant. And for the most part, maybe you could work something out, but you do have to put a time limit on it. You know, you got to be, what was your meal? $50 at minimum wage. Let's do the math. Minimum wage at $7 minus taxes and stuff. You have to be here for 10 hours. That's not going to go over well. Now, something that didn't go over well was this place called Subway. I know. I love Subway. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's the cheap meat or the fresh bread, because, you know, both of them are good. No one goes in the Subway because they have great meat. They go in there because they have fresh bread, and it makes everything inside that bread taste really good. This girl right here showed up, and her TikTok has gotten over 6 million some odd views. And actually, when we're looking for it, they've taken it down. I've seen a couple stitches and stuff. It's nothing fancy. It's just a girl with an overlay of this on the screen. It's nothing real fancy, but that's all been taken down. But here's what happened before it got taken down. It says, I'm not even an employee. I didn't do any interview. The woman shows up to Subway and claims to be a new hire, and they left her to man the store alone without any training. A woman went viral on TikTok, of course, because that's where everything happens now. Shared now she allegedly walked in the Subway and started working with no questions asked, despite never officially being hired. All right. I don't know what she was doing that for. And you can see here, the video's been, the band right here is currently unavailable. So instead of looking at that, you can look at me. TikToker Fran at Comedy Cupid records herself in the back room of Subway location, claiming that she simply walked in and claimed that she was the new hire. She added that the other workers allegedly left her alone to man the store. They were like, all right, it's cool. Here comes backup. You're on your own. I told the Subway people that it was my first day and they just let me work. You know, walked in, hey, I'm the new hire. All right, grab that spatula over there or grab a pair of gloves, whatever they do. She wrote in the text, I'm not even scheduled, but I'm not even an employee either. I just came in and told them that I was a new hire and then didn't do any training. So the video has 1.6 million views, and it was shared this past Wednesday. Viewers commented, claimed that it was a typical Subway behavior. Now, Subway, for the most part, is a franchisee. So depending on, this doesn't reflect the whole entire Subway persona, but it all depends on who owns that Subway. The girl said, Cupid, what's her name? Comedy Cupid. Of course, looking for likes and stuff. She said that I worked in Subway for a little bit in 2016, and it's been like that ever since back then, like no one ever cares. So the girl walked in there and started making sandwiches. I would just say, what do you want? I like a ham sandwich. Oh, you like ham, huh? I would start throwing ham on there, like dealing deck of cards, and then, oh, you want more ham? Is that enough ham? Does that look good to you? And then I would have gone to the register. I go, how much do you think this would be valued to? And you're like going, oh, well, you know, I'd pay normally $12. All right, $12, ham sandwich. There you go, out the door. Pocketed that. But I mean, if they left her to man it by herself, what are you supposed to do? All rules, all the laws and everything of working behind the counter at Subway are thrown out the door when they leave it all to you. Because you can just claim, can you claim ignorance? I know they say ignorance is not an excuse for what something about the law. I don't know. law or something like that. Difficult words. Now, this woman right here had some difficult words to her supervisor. Now, for all you little kiddies out there, I know we have a small audience of kids that are 10 years and younger. So tell your mommy and daddy to mute or pick up the phone now or pick up their tablet, because you might not want to hear this. Mommy and daddy, some mommy and daddies might not want to hear this either. A nurse, a psych nurse, was fired from her job because she used foul language. All right. Well, that seems like a really reputable offense. You know, if you're using foul language, no one should be subjected to that in the workplace. If you're telling me to fuck off or take a shit or piss up a rope, you shouldn't talk to me that way. But that's not what happened. On the afternoon of July 28th, in the Episcopal Hospital in Philadelphia, chaos reigned supreme. Patients in the psych ward at the hospital were fighting each other. More patients were being admitted. Another was attempting to escape, and other patients, including the people's ability to give consent, was questionable. They were all engaging in sexual intercourse with each other. Quote unquote, Mallory, the nurse, said things were getting to the point of no return. Mallory was hit in the face during what she described as a melee. She told Vice News, "There were a couple of us and we needed help. We didn't have enough manpower to deal with what was the income of new patients." Frustrated, Mallory called the supervisor and pleaded for help. Quote unquote, "It's absolutely nuts up here," Mallory, whose last name has been omitted to protect her privacy, recalling telling the supervisor, quote, "I've got patients blowing each other. They're fighting. They're hitting me. I need help right now." What happened after that conversation, according to Mallory, was laughable. By the end of the following week, she was out of a job. They fired her. Eventually that day, the nurses got into a situation under control. But Mallory was told later on that she was reported for using profound language in her conversation with a supervisor, unbeknownst to her that the manager had been listening to the conversation as well. Well, that's kind of foul. The fact that the manager was more concerned about the way I spoke instead of the actual message that we were in dire need of assistance is really just preposterous. It speaks volumes on their priority. Mallory told the director of nursing in July 28 in the email, which she shared with Vice News. Mallory also reported that the manager, for allegedly ordering her and the other nurses and mental health technicians to keep patients who'd hit Mallory in restraints until the morning, no matter what, as Mallory recounted in the letter to the hospital's director of nursery, or directed to the nurse. Reached by phone, the manager told Vice that Mallory was not in her unit, though Mallory complained about the orders of the manager. All right, so on and so forth. As mental health professionals and nurses who are interested in keeping our licenses, we did not follow this directive as far as keeping people in restraints past their violation of human rights. Restraints of nature and time frame allegedly given an order from the nursing manager in violation of the Temple Health guidelines. Restraints will be discontinued as early as possible when the patients meet the criteria for discontinuation according to the hospital policies. Pennsylvania law also restricts restraints used to control acute or people with epilepsy or aggressive behavior. So on and on and on. One of the things that Mallory was also fired for, you took a 1.5 hour meal break, which exceeds the amount of time authorized by your meal breaks, which stated in the termination. The nurses' union contract mandates that workers that work 12-hour shifts are supposed to be given a 75-minute break in total. The hospital said they accused her of going being gone for 85 minutes, 10 minutes too long. Meanwhile, she's dealing with people sucking and fucking and doing all that stuff. I'm sorry. That's what it is. You know, there's probably a good reason why we don't have mental or psych wards in the United States anymore. Now, this happened in Pennsylvania, but you can see, I mean, it's not at one time it was, you know, for profit, and they would run psych tests on it. I mean, it was horrible back in the 40s, 30s, 40s, and 50s. It was horrible. And this is what you get. You get, you know, people, the patients are run the asylum. Well, we wish Mallory out there luck. If she wants to come work for DeaconLive, it's pretty calm over here outside of me not getting a well pump done. Maybe she can handle that guy if I give her the phone number. All right, guys, stick around. We got a couple more things to get into, and we'll let you get back to what you got to do. You're listening to DeaconLive right here on Prophet Radio. I'll be right back. Come back here. I'll come back here. Feel comfortable here. Welcome back to DeaconLive. You want to be heard? Of course you do. Everyone wants to be heard, and we'd love to hear from you. You can be a part of the show at any given time, and the way you do that, you can talk right into a microphone, and we will play your voice right here on the air on DeaconLive. And what you do is go over to Prophet Radio, Prophet Radio. There's a little blue bar there, a little blue, I don't know what it's called. It shows up different on everyone's thing, but it's called Be Heard. And if we want to talk about any of the shows or any of the stories that we've talked about here on the air, we'd love to hear from you. Fill out that little form there. I'm not going to do anything with your email address or anything. You can be anonymous if you want. I don't care. And we'll play your voice on the very next podcast as well. Even if you want to, if you heard something from a couple podcasts ago and you want to talk about it now, that's fine. I remember we got podcasts going all the way back to 2017. We're coming up on 300 podcasts here since the history of DeaconLive, and we appreciate each and every one of you for being a part of that and making this happen. Now, something right now that's making things happen is, you know, TikTok out there, they're a monster right now. I think Facebook has seen its first year of losing subscribers, and TikTok has taken over that platform, the new king of social media as far as I think Facebook basically shot themselves in the foot. They took their own stance as far as political, what they were going to run, what they weren't going to run. That's their own fault. And they were just seeing the money, and they were just grabbing the money wherever the money came in. Now, TikTok in itself, you can't technically show sex. You can't technically show violence to a certain degree on one human to another. And then, of course, no animal abuse or anything like that. And I agree. I agree with those platforms. And then outside of that, you can do whatever you want. Christ, I was sitting on the toilet and not showing myself on the toilet. And we have a cat, a rescue cat that we got from the cat rescue or the animal rescue. And we call her Trisket because she's got the colors of a Trisket cracker. And she's my ship buddy. And she's sitting there. I got a video of her walking back and forth across my feet. Like, pet me, pet me, pet me. I've got your undivided attention because you're not going anywhere. And you can follow me on TikTok as well. My videos are just basically simple little stuff that happens around the property here. I think they're interesting, and you might think they're just trivial in itself. Now, something that's trivial has been popping up on your Facebook feed. This is why things are happening on Facebook. That's why they're taking a tank. Is this article out here that's saying that there is a story about this guy. Hold on. Fucking screens. Copy, paste, insert. This article has been going around, and right now, Port St. Lucie in Florida has been caught up in this scam fake news alert. Port St. Lucie, a viral social media story was posted determining. Hold on. So what's happening is there's a little news article that goes around, and everyone's posting it, reposting it. And what it says is a viral social media post was determined to be fake by Port St. Lucie Police Department this past Monday. A Facebook post has been circulating online regarding a serial killer and abductor in the St. Lucie County in Florida. Be on the lookout for this guy. Port St. Lucie, the police department is telling residents that this post is fake and the contents of the post are not legitimate. Now, if you want to see what the actual post looks like, go over to Prophet Radio. For every podcast we do, we have a matching video as well. Make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube as well. I know we don't get a whole lot of traction over there because everyone listens to us on the go and stuff, but we got a lot of videos and things going on here in the studio, and I want you to be part of it. Just subscribe. Just hit the little subscribe. That'd be great for us. So here's the video, or actually here's the actual thing. I'm sure you've seen this before. You've seen this guy. He's got it's a light blue background. He's got a bald head. He's a white male, probably in his late 20s, early 30s. And everything starts out like this. Whoops. It says, be on the lookout. There is a serial killer or abductor who lives currently and is hunting in the basically, cut, copy, paste here, Port St. Lucie area. My friend was also taken, something like that. I'm trying to read through the scribble here. He drives a truck with LED lights and he hits cars all, I don't know. I can't read the whole thing, but basically it's this scam. And then, instead of Port St. Lucie, I've seen articles where they're in like Minnesota, articles where they're in, out in the Midwest, out in California. And it's this fake social media post that's been going around on the internet. So if you see it, it's a light blue background. It looks like a headshot or a DMV photo. It doesn't look like a, what they call a mugshot. And it's, basically hashtag serial killer, hashtag abductor in your area. It's fake. And I feel sorry for whoever that guy is. He must have pissed someone off bad. He must have pissed someone off so bad. They were like, ex-girlfriend, ex-boyfriend, whatever it was, put his picture on this thing, and it has made way a lot of news. Does that make sense to you? Now, something that's making a whole lot of news out there, like I said, I was talking about TikTok and all the things that connect TikTok to you, or I don't know. It's TikTok's a weird animal. My wife gets mad at me because, hold on. Every little second I get, if I got like 15 minutes or 5 minutes or 6 minutes, for example, if I make coffee and I'm waiting for the coffee pot to brew, I'll open up TikTok and scroll because I'm thinking I've got 5 or 6 minutes. I could watch 30 or some odd short length videos. And some of those videos, I said this before, I've got news articles. I've seen stuff first on TikTok. I saw the whole Anne Heche thing way before the news articles or the whole story came out. Someone had a video of her going into I wish I would have saved that. I wish I knew at the time. I wish I would have known what I was looking at, because I would have saved that and said, hey, look, I've seen this. Someone else has seen it before I have. Someone got to that information before anyone else has been released to the mainstream media. So I watched TikTok for that little nugget of something. And my wife's like going, no, you're always looking at that. I'm not looking at the dances. I'm not watching all the, hey, did you know, that guy and all that stuff. I'm looking for the little news articles, the little nuggets out there. Now, this little nugget right here is popping up on everyone's TikTok. Well, everyone under the age of 18, I guess, for the most part. If you're wondering what it is, it's when they say DTN, the letter D is in dog, the letter T is in Tom, and the letter N is in Nancy. Now, there's a lot of words and phrases that, in specific cultures, thank you for fixing that some cultures will hold on to. Some terms will rise and falls out of fashion more frequently than most popular food crazes and so on and so forth. The internet has its own language with specific communications developed on their own terms. The popularity acronym that is making the rounds right now is called DTN. But what does it mean? Well, if you think about it, not long or hard enough, all you wrestling fans out there are familiar with Stone Cold Steve Austin, that guy. He always said DTA, which means don't trust anybody. That was a phrase that he had. Now listen to how bad that TikTok has made our youth's mind mushy. DTN actually stands for, in the TikTok world, don't trust no one or don't trust nobody. Now, I'm going to let that sink in for a minute because everyone, let me switch screens here. Everyone over the age of, God, I don't know. Do I dare say 30? I'm going to go over 35. If someone says to you, don't trust nobody, it's the equivalent of Pink Floyd's We Don't Need No Education. Now it rings in. Yes. Don't trust nobody is a double negative, which means trust everybody. But that's what you're seeing on the TikTok feeds now. If you see DTN, it's grammar. You can just look at that person and go, all right, well, you're an idiot. You are not going to make it in society. Go work behind Subway or work at Waffle House or Waffle House. Not that there's anything wrong with working there, but that's what's going to happen. And that's what it means. It's another thing that bothers me. Hold on. Where's my Apple box at? I got it around here somewhere. My soapbox. It's right next to my Apple box. It's the same way when I see someone post something. I'm selling this for $25, and they put the 2 and the 5, and then they put the dollar sign behind the 2 and the 5. That drives me absolutely insane. Do you talk the way you write? Because if you do, you're a moron. All right. Speaking of morons, this app, now that we put all our faith in our phones and everything in the youth of today, this app right here actually saved this father, this dad, from dying because an app alerted his family that he was not doing well. Stick around. I'll get into that story when we come back. You're listening to Deacon Live right here on Prophet Radio. I'll be right back. Welcome back to Deacon Live. Make sure you follow us on all your social networks, and the way you do that is go over to Prophet Radio, PROPHET Radio. Click on social contacts. While you're there, fill out that little form. We'll send you out some free stuff. We got some magnets. We got some stickers. We got some bunch of free swag to give you as well. And don't forget, I do a couple different other podcasts as well. You can see, is this going somewhere? I don't know. Let me try something else. Stop. Welcome back to Deacon Live. Get yourself something for free, and the way you do that is go over to Prophet Radio, PROPHET Radio. Click on the free swag section. Fill out that little form. We'll send you out some stickers, some magnets and stuff. And don't forget to follow us also on Equine Dynamics, another show that I host with the likes of professional farrier Mike Stein. That's Equine Dynamics with Mike Stein. You can find us on iHeartRadio or anywhere that you download your podcasts as well. Make sure you sign up for our YouTube channel. Make sure you like and subscribe anywhere out there, and you can see us here in the studio and all the articles and videos and stuff that we play here on Deacon Live. You can see it firsthand without having to Google search or anything like that. And you can see my reaction. It's kind of like one of those, what do they call them, stitches over on TikTok. TikTok's taking over the world. Now, something right now that's taking over the world is this debate. Is a straw, are you ready for this? The internet cannot decide whether a straw has 1 or 2 holes. You tell me. The internet recently renewed its topic from August 2022 when market researchers and data analysts from the firm YouGov polled its followers on the holes within a straw. Now, don't forget, before the whole pandemic happened, they had the straw that was in the nose of the turtle, and everyone freaked out. And so we all went to like paper straws, and we went to metal straws, and people were falling on their metal straws, and they were shooting, popping out the side of their cheek, and everyone was dying from it. I don't know, I'm making this stuff up. But right now, it shows that a straw, and you know what a straw is, right? I'm not talking about the bendy straws. I'm not talking about the crazy straws or anything like that. Results show that 54% of the people thought that the straw only had one hole, while 42% believed that the straw had two holes. Meanwhile, 4% were unsure, and those guys are idiots. That 4% is out there licking the concrete right now. Over the years, the 1 and 2 holes have remained as popular answers from the poll reflected from YouGov. So what is your opinion? Does a straw have 1 or 2 holes? I think it's a tube. I mean, you have to all right, define a hole. It is a void within or through an object, right? So here we go. Is a straw actually a hole? Or is a tube? What's the definitions between a hole and a tube? Oh, God, I know. Everyone's out there grabbing their laptops, grabbing their little keyboards, and they're texting me right now and typing in at Deacon at ProfitRadio.com. Well, dummy, according to scientific manufacturers, that a tube necessarily can only be presented with 2 sides of a possibility of an empty space void between 2. All right, I got it. But that's the new thing out there. Whether a straw has 1 or 2 holes in it, I think it's a tube. I think there's an entrance and an exit. I don't say go through that hole in the cavern. I say go through the tube in the cavern. I don't know what I say. I'm not in that situation. Now, someone that wishes they weren't in this situation right now is this family right here. With all the apps and stuff that we have on the phones, some are garbage, some are, like TikTok, as they pay the bills here. Sorry, TikTok. But this app right here, if you don't have it on your phone, you might want to get it, especially if you have teenagers or people in the household that work just weird hours. No one's all at home at the same time. For example, everyone works at 8 to 5. Everyone's home at 5 o'clock. No one's out and running around. It's the app called Life 360. There's been a lot of controversy about it. When you're a teenager and stuff, I don't want my mom and dad to know where I'm at. Well, sometimes you need to know where your child is at. I mean, outside of being, a hover mom or whatever they call a helicopter mom, sometimes you just need to know. But this app right here, Life 360, saved this gentleman's life, who is a father of 2, is now recovering. So for more on this, if you want to see this video, go over to ProfitRadio.com, click on DeaconLive, and for every podcast we do, we have matching video as well, and you can see this in real time as we're talking about. So here we go.
As much as I want to be angry about getting that text message, I know it's not because of the app. I know it's because of the situation.
An app that alerted a Valley woman the moment her husband flew off his motorcycle.
It's pretty interesting. David Caldebiano shows us how this works and also how her husband's recovering.
Tim Kaine is recovering from serious injuries at Banner Desert Medical Center right now. And usually when car accidents or collisions happen, it could take hours for family members to find out. But Tim's wife was alerted the moment the crash happened with this Life 360 phone app.
It was early Saturday morning, just before 7. Tim Kaine dropped his son off at football practice and was just 5 minutes from his home on his motorcycle near 75th Place and East University Drive by Apache Junction.
It just says Life 360 detected sudden motion on Dad's phone.
Tim's wife, Sarah, received this message from that GPS phone app, and Dad is actually her husband.
When I called him and he didn't answer, my first thought was maybe it just fell out of his pocket.
But her worst fear came true when Sarah drove down the road using the GPS tech, seeing Tim badly hurt with his motorcycle on the street.
So, drove there. I was able to see him before he got into the ambulance.
Tim later told Sarah that he was victim of a hit-and-run crash. He says he remembers seeing a car driving on the opposite side of the road, dramatically turning in front of him. Since Sarah was able to get there right as the paramedics did, witnesses were able to tell her what they saw. The father of two slamming on his brakes, flying off of the bike, and 30 feet in the air. Arizona's family reached out to MCSO. Right now, they're calling this case, quote, a single vehicle accident, end quote.
I don't think he's ever been through anything like this. Sorry.
At this moment, Tim is recovering from a broken collarbone, scapula, ribs, along with a collapsed lung. Sarah says the past couple of days have been the hardest for her and her family, but she's grateful she's been there every step of the way, all thanks to that phone app that notified her the moment the crash happened.
The ER nurse actually told me that I told her what happened with the app, and she told me that app probably saved me about an hour or two of waiting to see where he was, because they would have had to pull his information, pull his emergency contacts.
In Mesa, David Caltabiano for Arizona's family.
Well, there you go. I mean, the Light 360 app, you can say, oh, Ma, I don't want that on my phone. You can find out where I'm at any given times. Oh, Dad, I don't want that on my phone. You can see what I'm doing. Well, sometimes parents need to know. And I know there's a certain boundary there that parents need to have. But I mean, with phone apps and stuff like that, especially, Jesus Christ, especially if, it's not a conclusive household or, not conclusive, but I'm making up words here. You put in whatever word you want. But, someone where, the mom leaves at 5 o'clock in the morning, the dad leaves at 7 o'clock in the morning. The kids are responsible for, getting on the bus on their own, latchkey kids. They get on the bus and then, mom comes back maybe at 8 o'clock at night. Dad comes back at midnight. They don't know if the kids are coming back and forth. So, I mean, each to its discretion as far as how the app is being used. I know a good friend of mine I worked with for many years. He could see all the time his kids at any given time when they're in school, especially here in the Charlotte area. And anytime you have and God forbid, you have a school shooting or something like that, if you had that app on your phone, at least you can see where your kids are at. If something like this, God forbid, that ever happens before or happens again in your area, pray to God that, pray to whoever that doesn't happen. But I mean, think about it. You don't hear about that when you hear about any of these disruptions in school. I don't want to say school shootings because that puts a bad moniker on it, but any of these incidents that happen at public areas. Does that make sense? Does that make it any smoother for you? Now, something that not making any smoother is this group of people right here. You ready for this? You ever gotten just so fed up at your job, you're like going, fuck it, I'm out of here, I'll quit. I'm going somewhere else. But only because like the manager or a different employee or something like that, have you ever quitted? Have you ever left your job because of a district manager where they were like going, everything's not being done right. You're an idiot. Everyone that works in the store thinks the upper management in retail is a bunch of idiots. Well, what's happening here at this place right here. Now, don't get me wrong. It says an entire shoe department quit their job. First of all, didn't know there were shoe departments anymore. Second of all, I didn't know it needed to require a whole entire group of people. But I guess in Virginia, the employees of this whole entire shoe department at a store in Virginia resigns the same time after getting fed up with their district manager. The TikTok user Garwood8812 posted a video in which her staff members from the Lynchburg store appeared to resign without hesitation. She panned the camera on the faces of all the employees as she asked them how they were getting on. So if you want to watch this video, here we go. The workers appeared to be happy about leaving the job, which had become troublesome. Okay, so the whole shoe department is leaving today is what the video starts out. The video says, our district manager, we all hated you. Don't forget to fix those windows display. Shoe department, you've been real, you've been fun, but you sure haven't been real fun. It appears that the reason of the mass exit was due to some behavior of the district manager that they could not stand working for. All right, kids, sometimes the adults know more than you do. I'm sorry. You know, if you look at this video, I know. Some of the adults know more than you do, and you might not agree with what's going on. So if you see this video, I'm going to show this video right now. Everyone in this video is literally, I know, I'm going to lose a big audience, or am I? Under the age of 25. So here we go. I don't like being told that I need to be here on time. I'm just saying that, but here's the video. So you want to check this video out? Here we go.
Okay, so the whole shoe department crew is leaving. How are you feeling?
I have all my clothes and stuff from my locker.
All right, and Cody,
okay.
How are you feeling?
I feel great.
Okay, Jennifer, how do you feel?
And not for nothing, I know my chair is squeaking here. None of these employees, I'm going to be superficial. They're not missing out on anything. They weren't making a career out of this. I'm going to say it. It's a store full of outcasts. So obviously they didn't agree with their whatever terms that they have in their head. This girl needs to brush her teeth. They're rotten. They look like they're rotten. She needs dental care. She might want to stay. So here we go. A little bit more.
How are you feeling?
I feel great.
Okay, Jennifer, how do you feel? Okay, Valerie, how do you feel?
I went down, I quit.
Okay, Tyler, how do you feel?
Oh, we should have had that.
Tyler doesn't care.
Oh, there goes the corporate.
Okay, so
anyways, they all leave the store. They all quit. And hold on, let me read a little bit more. Get a little bit more into it. The video captures read to our. Oh, I already said that. Sorry. One user said, "Way to go, guys. I used to work for them in the mall. You don't deserve this BS." Another wrote, "Give them hell. These corporations have been getting fat off the working class for too long without paying the people what they're due." All right. So it didn't really get into why they all left outside of a district manager going, I mean, honestly, how hard can it be to work at a shoe store? Stay off your phones, deal with the customers, get them their product. Every Wednesday when the new ad comes out, change the window dressings, right? I got to do all that? Yes, you have to do all that. And it looked like they sold like clothing and stuff in the background. How hard is that? If you cannot do retail at a shoe store level, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, kids. I'm sorry, America. I'm sorry for everyone out there. I don't know if we're going to make it. I don't know what's going to happen, but I wish us all the luck. All right, guys, on that note, I'm going to let you get back to what you got to do. My name is The Deacon. Make sure you follow us on all your social networks. And the way you do that is go to Prophet Radio, PROPHET Radio. Get yourself some free swag over there. Make sure you like us and subscribe to us on Facebook, YouTube as well. On that note, my name is The Deacon saying good night and good night.
Wait! Come back! This is the end. The absolute end.
Écoute-moi.
Everyone in that video was fat and lazy. I'm going to say it right now. They're all fat and lazy. Everyone had like butter teeth. They were all fat. They all had the same haircut, like they've been cutting themselves, and they're leaving. Get out there and fix this place. Hey, all right. That's my answer on that. All right, guys. Thanks. Take care. Bye. My new camera.